Hi, this is Eric Blackburn. This is my EDL 853 Mod 14 case study analysis. Section 1 summarized this case, established the facts. What happened, Miguel, a high school sophomore, was hurt while playing quarterback for the varsity football team and is now paralyzed below the waist. The injury occurred on a routine play, and nothing about the circumstance concerning the injury seems suspect. The school, opposing school, as well as the player who tackled Miguel, would likely not be held responsible for the injury. Schools will typically have athletes sign a liability waiver before participating in sports. Nothing negligent in terms of lack of supervision, worn out equipment, substandard playing conditions were noted as contributing factors to the injury. Many states have recreational immunity statutes on the books to protect schools. They limit school liability in the event of an injury when a student is participating in an athletic or recreational event on school property. If the student had been playing without proper safety equipment, or if it was on a malicious play, there would have been greater potential for financial responsibility for medical care placed upon those at fault, but because none of those situations apply, I would think there wouldn't be. Upon returning to the school, following several months of medical care and rehabilitation, Miguel was removed from his biology class and placed in one that will not qualify as a college prep course and fill the requirement for admission to the college he plans to attend after graduation. The parents and students were not informed of the change in biology class prior to it happening. By excluding Miguel solely because of having to use a wheelchair and not having another opportunity for students in wheelchairs to access college prep curriculum, they're not providing him with FAPE. The parents requested a meeting. They brought their attorney. The attorney stated the student's right to FAPE, which would include access to the biology class, is not occurring. Continuing on, when and where did it occur? The injury occurred at this high school football game. Removal from the biology class and replacement in a different science class occurred when he returned to school. Parents, students, attorney, guidance counselor, and the biology teachers were included. What do the involved parties have to say? The parents, via their attorney, state that the students' needs are not being met. Counselor says that the original biology class does not have wheelchair access. When did it happen? The injury occurred in the fall of Miguel's sophomore year of high school, and he returned to school several months after the injury. Reporting the legal or ethical issues, Miguel suffered a major injury in the football game. The decision to remove Miguel from the original biology class has negative implications for his future enrollment at the college of his choice. Do they go against the law? If the only biology class that is considered college prep is not available to students in wheelchairs, it would violate the law. Students in wheelchairs do not have equitable access to biology, given that the classroom is not accessible to them. Being that the alternative biology course is not college prep, it immediately constitutes inequality. I would say that there has been a breach of contract, discriminatory actions, or harassment. Being that the only college prep biology is inaccessible to students in wheelchairs, that is discriminatory in nature. It would be reasonable to suspect that other students at the high school of this size are in wheelchairs, and therefore they too would be unable to enroll in the college prep biology. Summary sentence of facts. Upon his return to school from a football injury, Miguel, who is now paralyzed below the waist, was unexpectedly removed from his college prep biology course and moved to a different course that is wheelchair accessible, but does not fill the science requirement for college admission. Synthesize the facts. What are the facts that are known? The people are Miguel, his parents, the guidance counselor, Mrs. Guzman, Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez, who are his parents, and Howard Carey, the attorney. The place is the football field and the science classrooms. The program, college prep biology versus normal biology. Unknown facts, the people, the biology teacher's thoughts and ideas, the school policies, special education personnel. Place, what about the college prep class keeps it from being wheelchair accessible? What about the other biology classes are different to make it accessible? The program, what other classes are included in the college prep pipeline? How does the curriculum differ between the two biology classes? Review and prioritize information. Could the situation be damaging to stakeholders? The situation could paint the school in a way that doesn't show that they fully support the education of students in wheelchairs. The citizens of Dover could potentially withdraw support over the school over the perceived lack of equality for students in wheelchairs. This could result in loss of donations from supporting groups and businesses throughout the city. This situation could open the district administration and the guidance counselor up to lawsuits. A lawsuit could cost the district a large sum of money that could be better used to serve all students in other ways. What individuals and groups have a stake in the outcome? I would say Miguel and his parents, Ms. Guzman, me as the principal, Dr. Harvey, the superintendent, all teachers at Nottingham High School, and the community as a whole, as well as the special education department and parents. Review and prioritize information. What can I learn about the situation? What about the biology classroom is not wheelchair accessible? How is this classroom different from the biology classroom Miguel's new biology class will be taught in? Can modifications be made to the classroom? Do we just need a different desk that would accommodate a wheelchair? How could we move the class to a different classroom, wheelchair accessible or a classroom lab? If not, could we use the technology to engage Miguel in the class from a different location? Is there another college prep biology we can enroll him in? What other options were considered before changing Miguel's class? What does Ms. Guzman have to say about the situation? Do we typically inform parents of changes to a student's course schedule? Do I know enough to make a decision? Answers to some of the questions above would allow me to feel more confident in making an appropriate and just decision. Identify options and consequences. What could I do? If I make no decision or take no action, I could leave Miguel in his new class. We will surely end up in court on the wrong end of a lawsuit for not meeting the needs of a student with a disability. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 provides educational protections for students with disabilities. The most comprehensive or liberal action that can be taken, I could discipline Ms. Guzman for inappropriately moving Miguel out of his class and into one that is not college prep level, then move the college prep biology to a different wheelchair accessible location or modify the classroom to allow access to students in wheelchairs. Refrain from future use of the classrooms that are not equipped for use by students in wheelchairs. Then help to develop a school policy that encourages greater communication when changing student schedules and ensures all options are considered. It would also protect the rights of students with disabilities and make sure the school is following all federal and state regulations. Identify options and consequences. What could I do? Additional options. Identify several middle-of-the-road strategies to take. I could swap out a lab table in the college prep biology classroom that would be usable by Miguel or other students in wheelchairs. I could place Miguel back in his original class, provide Ms. Guzman and the rest of the staff with training on meeting the needs of all students and following Section 504 guidelines. Or I could allow Miguel to participate in the college prep biology class via FaceTime or something similar that would allow him to be involved from a different location. Another option would be to start a section of the college prep biology course that would be taught entirely online so that other students unable to attend the traditional section would be able to access it. Evaluate the options. The pros of option one would be not rocking the boat. Things continue as they have been for the staff and other students. Ms. Guzman feels as though she has made the correct call. Con to that choice, lawsuit for not providing equal access for Miguel. We look at the second option. Miguel is able to make the biology class. Option two. Miguel is able to take the biology class he needs. He and his family feel supported. We avoid a lawsuit. Ms. Guzman sees that similar situations need change in the future. A policy will now be in place to ensure that this does not happen again, and all students are able to access all classes they need to. A consequence of the second option, Ms. Guzman may feel targeted for a system failure. This may result in her quitting or a change in her attitude and productivity at work. The biology teacher may resent having to move his class. Not having a classroom or having to modify one for use of all students will take time and money. We look at a third option, would be a simple and quick fix, allows Miguel to take the biology class he wants to take and does not disrupt or change things unnecessarily, provides needing training for staff members. A negative for that one is that a table that would work for Miguel may have to be purchased. Obviously a very small price in terms of the grand scheme. Option 4, Miguel would be able to access the college prep curriculum to a greater extent than if he remains in a new biology class. A con to this plan is that Miguel would not be able to interact with his peers or his teacher during this class. His access to the curriculum would not be equal to that of his peers. He would also not be able to participate in the lab portions of the class. The fifth option that I came up with, Miguel and other students that are currently unable to would be able to take college prep biology. This would get them to experience how many college classes are taught via lecture, thus preparing them for the next step in life. The consequence to this one would be that students enroll in the online class would not have much interaction with peers or the teacher. They will not be able to participate in the lab activities. Choose the best option, final reflection upon decision based on circumstances. It's important that a decision is made that best serves Miguel. We must also ensure that future situations such as this are handled in a way that limits disruption of learning for students and also conveys our support and dedication to all students. The school needs to make sure that all policies are in place to protect students, but also keep the school from being the subject of a lawsuit. Miguel is a good student, has a family that supports him and the school. His family needs to feel equal support for the school and Miguel and his future plans. How can decisions be implemented with greatest care and attention to all stakeholders? Decision needs to be made quickly as to limit further disruption for Miguel and others. The school needs to own their mistake and show the positive changes they are moving forward so that all stakeholders see that they are focusing on the success of all students. Have all stakeholders been consulted? Visiting with Miguel, his family, and their attorney, as well as the biology teachers, special ed personnel, Ms. Guzman, and other school staff to ensure that we come up with the best solution to the situation is vital. Reaching out to other schools to see how they have handled similar situations would help in the process so we can learn from what has worked for others and avoid what has not been effective. Imagine implementing the decision. Choose path, plan all steps. The first step to ensure is to ensure I have gathered all information. Next, we have to have a meeting to develop a 504 plan for Miguel. Miguel's parents will need to be part of the process and must be notified and included in all aspects. Miguel does not qualify under IDEA. He has a disability, but does not need special education services. ADA does apply to him, though. Figure out what keeps Miguel from being able to access the college prep biology. Next, I need to contact our school attorney and let him know the situation in my plan. This person will be able to offer guidance and rectify the situation. Can we swap out a table? Is there another classroom that we can move the class to, or important things to think about during the steps and implementation? I need to visit with Ms. Guzman to find out what other possibilities she explored before changing Miguel's class schedule. Also, discuss the importance of meeting all students' needs. We don't want to expose ourselves to future lawsuits. After coming up with a solution, meet with Miguel's parents again to share the idea. Ask for their input and own the fact that the school messed up. Apologize and thank them for bringing the mistake to the school's attention. If they are on board with simply swapping out a lab desk for one that will allow Miguel to rejoin the class, do it. If they have other things they would like to see the school do to fix the situation, be open to their ideas. Let them know the school will be increasing training for staff to ensure that this type of situation can be avoided in the future. Continuing on, next we'll find a replacement desk that Miguel can use in class and move it into place. Meet with the college prep biology teacher and make him completely aware of the situation and ensure he is making sure that Miguel can access every aspect of the curriculum. Add a teacher in service, review laws and regulations concerning special education students and students with disabilities. Make sure that everyone is on the same page. Also assemble a team to develop a school policy concerning steps taken when a student needs a schedule change, communication with families throughout that process, and specifically what to do in the event that a student needs changes due to health concerns. Follow up with Miguel's parents 2 weeks or so after Miguel's returned to his college prep class and see if they are pleased with how things are going. Check in an additional 4 to 6 weeks later and see how things are going. Let them know if they have any concerns or issues arise to please contact me as needed. Long-term plan would be to include changes to all classrooms to ensure that they are all accessible to students in wheelchairs. Think about what might happen, likely outcomes and consequence management. Miguel's parents are likely to be defensive initially as they feel their son's best interest was not considered. We need to reinforce throughout actions and words that the students come first in all decisions making. If we handle the situation appropriately, we can hopefully mend the fence and move forward in a positive way that will allow good relationships in the future. Stakeholders in the community need to see what we're doing. Identifying who needs to know and what needs informed of the plan. Miguel, his parents, and their attorney, Ms. Guzman, the staff members, our school lawyer, and also Dr. Harvey, the superintendent, because legal action was essentially threatened, he should need to be informed. Determine if I can deal with the situations on my own. I think I could deal with it on my own. If my resolution is not well received, I may request assistance, but I think it would be sufficient. Having the school attorney as an available resource if needed is helpful as well. Handling the situation personally will help to move things positive and repair the relationship with Miguel's family. Plan B, find an alternative setting for college prep biology. All other aspects of my plan remain the same. The only change would be that instead of swapping out a desk, we would find a science lab that would be available for college prep biology that's not being used. With 3,200 students attending the high school, there are sure to be multiple science labs. The class Miguel has been switched into is obviously wheelchair accessible. If the classes needed to be switched locations, we could do that. A third option would be to set up Miguel to be part of a college prep biology in a different setting. The use of video chat programs. We could experience the lecture portion of the class in a different room. We would then have another staff member complete the lab portion of the class with him as well. This is not my first choice, but it would allow Miguel to access the curriculum and meet the admission requirements for college. This is not necessarily a cut and dry case. We have a student that was supportive of the school, his family is support, and we have wronged him. It's important we figure out a way to fix it. Hopefully I've looked at all aspects of the case. I feel like I've come up with multiple opportunities to fix the situation. Thank you for viewing my video.